Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode, 306. There we go. Should have looked at that before I started. Didn't have a podcast last week, had to confine myself to the bathroom for extended periods of time. I did not think I could sit here for a solid hour without having to excuse myself for a few minutes. So I decided to cancel last week's podcast. So sorry about that. So I have a lot to talk about. It's like many, I'm sure, it has been a very difficult last couple of weeks. Personally, there's been a lot of unpleasant, miserable, horrible stuff going on in my life personally. And stuff that makes me sad and depressed and angry. But I'm not going to talk about any of that, because that's no fun. Occasionally this will be Andrew's therapy session, but that's not this week. I've got much more fun stories and things to talk about this week. So, first up on the agenda, Masahiro Sakurai, as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, started his own YouTube channel where he has little bite-sized videos about game design and game design theory. This past week, he released a video called Just Let Them Play. And it's a short video. It's only about 2.5 minutes. But the theme of the video is something rather near and dear to my heart. Here's a shot from the video with the subtitles. "You can't expect people to buy a game," says Masahiro Sakurai, "if they can't even tell what kind of game it is." Now, where have we heard that before? Right here, from this horse's ass's mouth. He was talking about specifically video game advertisements, video game trailers, and how they're all often front-loaded with expensive CGI cutscenes that are pretty and can be entertaining, but if you don't tell it bores me, it bores him. He's like, I've start skipping through game trailers now. So Masahiro Sakurai is saying that he knows what he's talking about. Sakurai knows. So that felt pretty good to me. Where one of the big name game developers sees the same problem that I do. The expensive CG and stuff is all cool and everything, but you do have to at some point, let us know what the game actually is. Because you can't expect people to buy a game if they can't even tell what kind of game it is. True that, Sakurai-san. True that. So, I need to move my topics around just a little bit here. Okay. Put that there. So, I've talked about, I got a new job 2 months ago. Started about 2 months ago. It's been going very well. I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying not bleeding cash. Although we'll see if I'm in a new tax bracket and how that affects everything in a few months. The only drawback to the new job that I got a couple months ago was that my offer letter said, "You're on probation for the first 6 months. No leave for the first 6 months." I'm like, well, I'm accruing PTO, right? Oh, yeah. So I'm accruing vacation. I just can't take any for the first 6 months. Well, bummer. I'd really like to have a day or two around the Extra Life charity event, which is in about a month. Um, you know, because that's draining. I'd like take that following Monday off, get some extra sleeps in. I just found out this past week that there's a thing flying here. That my offer letter did not mean you can't take PTO for the first 6 months. Ugh, gotcha. Just stay out of my face, little flying things. Little flying things getting all up in my grill and such. What it meant was you're on probation for leave, as in leave of absence, not PTO, not paid time off. You can still take vacation if you've accrued enough hours. You can still take sick days if you've accrued enough hours. Although if you got sick on the second day, stuff happens. But you can't go on leave. So that wasn't clear to me in the offer letter. I was just like, oh, can't take vacation for the first 6 months? Weird. But no, I can take vacation. So I'm going to take a day or two after the charity event. My sister will be out here, so we'll have some time to visit, so that'll be nice. But yeah, they meant no going on a leave of absence for the first 6 months. Not PTO. So, oops. Yeah, my supervisor got that wrong too. They're working on a new position and they're working to fill it, and that came up in a meeting. He's like, "Oh, is that what it means?" And then he called me up. He's like, "Hey, Andrew, I found out that probation doesn't mean no PTO. It just means you can't go on a leave of absence." Oh, okay. The Escapist. If I'm not mistaken, The Escapist is the second or third? Second or third, probably, I think second, definitely not the first, but I think it's the second website that I wrote a professional piece for. I was commissioned to write a piece for them. Yay me. So I've always had a bit of an affinity for the Escapist magazine. And I still read stuff on the Escapist today. However, last week, the Escapist started looking like this. It's in dark mode. Well, I don't like that. See how all the text is white and everything else, you have a black website with white text? Instead of, a white website with black text like nearly every other website, and all of books, and newspapers and magazines. That is very, very difficult for my poor old man eyes. I don't like that. It's hard to read. So I was like, oh crap, I accidentally toggled on dark mode. Dark mode I actually don't mind in like a code editor. I think it might be because code editors typically highlight different types of code in various fun colors, which for some reason that makes it easier on my eyes. But just having all white text on a black screen, it hurts my eyes. It's hard for me to read. So I searched around. Let me pull that back up. I'm looking up here. I'm like, where's the toggle? How do I is it down here? No. Huh. How the hell do I turn that off? I emailed the admin. No response. Emailed the admin again 4 or 5 days later. Still no response. To this day, no response. And put out a call on Twitter. No one responded, or at least Twitter did not notify me if anyone responded. So I thought, oh no. Did the Escapist... Did I not toggle dark mode on by accident? Did the Escapist just change their website to do dark mode, and it's not a toggle. That's just the way it is now, and I'm probably just going to have to stop reading the damn thing. Oh no. Well, if it's a browser, if it's a setting, it's probably saved in a cookie somewhere. So let me just pull it up on my work computer and see if it's in dark mode on my work computer. Well, my work computer's off because it was Friday after work. So I said, all right, I'll just look at it on my phone. And so here it is on my phone. Here it is on my phone. You see the navigation bar right here? You see that moon-looking icon right there? Yeah, that's the toggle for light and dark mode. That moon icon on the navigation bar at the top. Well, Huh, Sickles, say I. Where the biscuits is it up here? And why is my mouse not showing on the screen? There we go. Where is it? And so I thought to myself, well, what if I just narrow my browser? There we go. What if I just narrow the browser window until it's the... Oh, there we go. What's that? Little moon? If we narrow it enough to get the mobile layout, we get the moon icon, and we can turn the goddamn dark mode off. So, yay. Now I can read The Escapist again without burning my eyeballs out. So... behold the power of QA. I have the Escapist Moon to you. Yeah, very good, Chicago. I have a pull-up bar. It is in the it's hanging above the door to my bathroom. If you want to use the bathroom, 5 pull-ups. I'd had the same pull-up bar for like 6 years. It was time to get a new one because the damn thing... Well, actually, it was very time to get a new one because not only were the grips just eroded away, I'd actually bought pads for my hands to compensate. But I broke the damn thing just hanging my heavy ass off of it. You know, the handle on the right side has 2 bolts holding it onto the main frame. Well, the whole handle just went BAM! And ripped the one bolt out and bent the other bolt in half. So, yeah, had to get a new one. So got a new one, didn't fit my door, so I had to send that back, got another one. And, it has 4 65mm carriage bolts. Let me do a little show and tell here. Hang on, I should have prepped this, but I did not. Sorry. Where are they? Alright. That's not it. I'm wondering where my... I don't know where the broken one is, but, cool. Okay. So, 65mm carriage bolt. You'll notice on the top, see how there's an indent there? That is for an Allen wrench. So, you know, one of these things. You put it in the top and you can tighten it. So you put the washer and the nut in the bottom, you hold it in place with a wrench, you put the Allen wrench thing in there and you spin, right? Okay. There's 4 of these bolts. One of them, this Allen wrench. This was not drilled out. It was just flat. So I couldn't tighten it because it would just spin, and there's no way to hold this thing to tighten the nut, right? It would just spin. So I called the company, or sent them an email, no response. Sent another email, no response. Called them up, and they said, "Oh, well, we'll send another one right out." And well, that was nice. So I got it, and I got this 65 millimeter carriage bolt. It's the wrong bolt. It has this one isn't even meant to be drilled out. It's just flat on the top. So I have no way of tightening it. Got 4 of these. Got an entire box full of all of the crap. They didn't just send the bolt, they sent the entire piece, and it must be for something else because these aren't the right ones. So I called them back again, and they sent me a new one, and I got it. It's good. And then they sent me another one because the person on the email finally answered the email and said, "Oh, we'll send one right out to you." So now I have a ton of bolts. And the pull-up bar, I finally found out, and I've had it for like 6 weeks now, been dealing with this. Not very well built, because it's kind of crooked. Which I didn't know, because I didn't have it hanging, because I couldn't put it together until now. It doesn't sit flat, it sits at kind of an angle. I have a level, I checked. But, I mean, it doesn't matter that much when you're doing pull. It kind of evens out when you're hanging off of it, so not a big deal. But what is a big deal is the molding on my doorway sticks out about 1/2 an inch, and the pads on the side of the bar that braces against the wall are only about 1/4 inch thick. So the bar, the little pads that are supposed to brace against the wall do not reach the wall. The bar itself is just pushing into the molding on the door frame. So I need to just get like a 1/2 inch piece of wood and like put some rubber on the back and just put that behind it. So one of those things, man. One of those things. All right. Plenty fun, more stories. The next one's really funny, I think. But before we do that, I would like to talk about a new special surprise thingy that I've been hinting at for a couple of months. My sister and I are doing a new show, a new YouTube show / podcast. It's called Movie Mandates. And the concept of the show is every month Alexander, hello, says, saying in Russian that literally means to place a bolt on something, basically to treat something without care. Yeah, I have a hell of a lot of bolts. I just got bolts out the wazoo. A bunch of Allen wrenches, too. So my sister and I are doing a new show. There will be a video version on YouTube. First episode is on Wednesday. There will be an iTunes version if you want the audio version. It's called Movie Mandates. The concept is my sister and I mandate a movie for the other to watch according to a monthly theme. We watch the movie and then we talk about it. That's the whole thing. So as Kyle over at KNGI pointed out, it's kind of like a book club, just with movies. So October's theme is /Happy Halloween, and our first movie is The Hills Run Red. Not the Western from the 60s, the slasher movie from 2009, I think. And we commissioned show art from Lindy Lee, who you'll probably all remember from the Extra Life charity events. She does she offers up her services for that I raffle off. So Lou won one year, Riku won last year, so she's doing that again this year, so that's great. Here is our new show art. Isn't it adorable? Look at that. I love it. Boy, did she nailed my sister's hair, didn't she? Oh, I love that. Um, so you'll see over on my sister's left says slash Happy Halloween, and she's pointing up at the marquee that says Hills Run Red, and there's a poster behind my left shoulder. Those will change out every episode with the new title, the new poster, and the theme will change every month. So excited about that. Um, so when the show comes out on Wednesday, at the end, we will announce the next mandated movie. So if you want to rent it or stream it somewhere, there will be a link in the description where you can do that, and you'll have 2 weeks to watch it, and then the next episode will be out. So the episodes will premiere on the first and third Wednesday of every month. We've already got, I think, like 10 shows in the bag, so I think we're pretty confident that we'll be able to keep to the schedule because we've got a nice backlog started. I think we're recorded all the way through February. So, and we're having unlike as compared with monthly movie mini reviews, which is another show she and I do. This one's a bit more structured. Especially since we watch the movie a couple of days before we talk about it. When we do monthly movie mini reviews, oftentimes it's like months later, and it's like, I don't even remember this movie anymore. So I'm excited about the show. The first 2 episodes run a little long, especially the second episode. But by the third episode, we keep it to an hour, and I get my sister got a new microphone, I think by episode 3 or 4, so her sound quality improves pretty quickly. So hope you're all looking forward to that. Chicago says, saw your tweet in the new show. I like the cartoon avatar of you, has no emotion on his face. Yeah, she nailed that pretty well, especially with the eyebrow raise. So yeah, I'm very happy with the art. Kyle at KNGI, he likes it too. He called it adorable, and I agree. So movie mandates coming to a YouTube near you on Wednesday. All right, commercial over. I need protein. Lots and lots of protein. And so, every month or so, I buy another 5-pound tub of protein. Like every grown boy needs. So I ran low on protein. I ordered another big 5-pound tub of protein, banana flavored, because it works really well with the banana smoothies I make. It'd be, although I guess any of the flavors would work, because you can have strawberry banana or chocolate banana. Vanilla banana is kind of boring, but banana, nummies. So, waiting for my protein. I see that I'm looking at the tracking information. FedEx says, we delivered it today at 1:45. So after work, I go out and open my door and look on the porch, and I don't see it anywhere. Whoa. Go over to the mail cubbies by the leasing office. It's not in the locker, the package lockers. The next day, I go to the leasing office and say, hey, they didn't... Because the thing's big enough that it wouldn't fit in one of the package lockers anyway. I'm like, did FedEx leave a package for me, like, in the office? No. I looked at... I double-checked my address on the invoice. Name, Andrew Eisen, address, my address, building number, apartment number, all that good stuff. So I looked around at this building and the next building at everyone's porches to see if they'd drop off, because sometimes I get other people's packages, so I just drop them off. I just take them over to wherever they're supposed to be. But no, so I'm like, did someone steal my protein? Did someone abscond with my 5-pound tub of teen? Chicago says, I get chocolate protein, add... Oh, PB Fit, sure, powdered peanut butter. And banana. Yeah, I think Vaughn's has that. I've tried it before. It's actually pretty good. Um, the one I use is not the tastiest, but its texture is okay. You got to be careful with protein because some of it can be very chalky. Some of it tastes exactly like what I imagine plaster tastes like. You know, you look at plaster and you're like, you get your imagination says, I bet I know what that tastes like. And then you try like some soy protein or plant-based protein, and you're like, oh god, that's exactly what I imagine plaster tastes like. So the one I have is not the tastiest. The texture is fine, but it's very high in protein, so that's why I go with that one. Also, I can get it in 5-pound tubs. So I looked at the tracking information a little bit more carefully because they said they delivered it, and they did. To Norfolk, Virginia. I don't live in Norfolk. I don't live in Virginia. I live in San Diego, California. So I called FedEx and I said, hi, says you delivered my package, but it says you delivered it to Virginia. That's not where I am. And so they got my name and they got my address, and they says, yeah, that doesn't match what's on the shipping label. I'm like, oh, so the address and the name was wrong? Huh. So I suppose it's possible that I just got the wrong tracking number, but it's been a couple of days now and I still don't have my protein. So what's more likely is the seller slapped the wrong shipping label on my package. So some poor person in Virginia now has an unexpected and free 5-pound tub of protein. Like, huh. I mean, it's shipped to me. Of course, they're probably missing something too, or maybe they did get. I don't. Who the hell knows what happened? But I got my my $50 refunded, so now I just have to buy. I'm dusting my camera there. Now I have to buy another tub of protein. Oh well. So, the upstairs apartment, the apartment immediately above mine, has been being remodeled for the last 2 weeks. The crew that they have starts at 7:30 every single morning, which is almost half an hour before I get up, before I want to get up. And they work until, I work 8 to 5, they work 7:30 to 6. I don't know why the apartment takes it. They're actually done now, but I don't know why it took them so long. Friday was their last day. They had some cleany people. No, I'm getting my days wrong. The last day, my internet goes out. And I hear some guy hammering on my wall outside. And I come out of my apartment, and they're just running a coaxial cable along the wall outside. Not like along the eave or anything, just along the wall, right under my window, across the thing, and then up the thing, and then into the apartment. And I'd already looked on my phone to see if there was an outage, and I'd called the contractors that work past 3 p.m. Yeah, I don't know. I'd called Spectrum, and they say there's no outage, and you seem to have internet going to your location. And then I started hearing the pounding on the wall. I'm like, would you hold on a minute? I walk outside and I see a guy with the cable. I'm like, did you unplug my internet? Because clearly they're wiring the upstairs apartment for internet. I'm like, did you unplug my... Oh, no, shouldn't have done that. And I'm like, okay. Go back there, resume my call with Spectrum. 2 minutes later, knock on the door. We unplugged your internet. Sorry, we plugged it back in. I'm like, okay. And my internet came back on. I told the nice person on the phone, okay, it's working now. It's just the construction people remodeling the apartment above mine had pulled the plug. And then I get a email that says, Your service appointment is scheduled for 3 p.m. tomorrow or whatever. I'm like, well, that's weird because I didn't I didn't schedule a service appointment, so I had to cancel it. But yeah, hey, did you plan nailing a coaxial cable to the side of my apartment? Think that has anything to do with why my internet don't work? No, no, it can't be it. Yeah, we unplugged your internet. Sorry. Uh. So speaking of packages delivered to the wrong person, after work at some point this week, I went to, I don't know if I was, probably to go get the mail. So I go out to get the mail, and sitting on my doorstep is a steak dinner from DoorDash or something, from Chicken Crazy Takeout or some place. And I'm like, oh no, I didn't order that. I looked at the receipt stapled to the bag, and it didn't have the person's address on it, so I didn't know who it was for. But it did have the delivery time, and it was the previous afternoon. That had been sitting on my porch for almost a full day. I don't know who. Yeah, I don't know whose dinner that was. Their name and their address were not on the ticket. Were not on the receipt, but the delivery time was. So I knew how long it had been sitting out there, and their phone number was on it too. And I could have called them, but I don't think a steak dinner that's been sitting on my porch for 18 hours was going to do anybody any good. I hate wasting food, but yeah, a steak is not going to keep sitting outside for a day. So I binned it. Also, I'm pretty sure, at least I hope, that whoever ordered the steak dinner was like, where the hell's my steak? And called DoorDash and says, hey, my steak never arrived. So, yeah. Yeah, Chicago saying a steak dinner from Chicken Crazy Takeout? That is crazy. You know what? I think the name of the establishment was Chicken something, but I can't remember. I'd never heard of it before, so it did not stick in my head. But I'm remembering chicken. But it was a steak and veg and something else. But am I too good for day old steak? No, but day old steak probably ain't good enough for anybody health wise. So, I went shopping last night, and I needed to get some fish, needed to get some other stuff, and I needed to get some soap, some soap for the bathroom, right? So go to the store, fill my shopping bag with fish and soap and all the stuff I need. All of the self-checkout lanes are closed. This was maybe 9 o'clock at night. I shop that late on occasion. I don't know why. Maybe, I don't know why they were closed. I have not used a manned checkout in years. But, whatever. Went to the manned checkout, put my fish and my soap and whatever else I bought on the little conveyor belt. Put my bag up there. Futzed around with my credit card. She packed the bag for me, gave me my receipt, took my bag, went to my car, drove home, put away my groceries, no soap. Went out to my car, looked in the trunk to see if it had spilled out. No. Looked again today because, light. She appears to have not bagged all of my groceries. It's a 6-mile round trip to Vaughn's. I wasn't going to drive all the way back for a $3 thing of soap. Luckily, I'm in the financial position where I can eat $3. Still annoying. It's like, well, gall darn it, this is why I use these self-checkout lanes, because I can't trust people to bag my damn groceries. And I think I only bought like 4 things. I think 2 bags of fish, soap, and something else. Coconut milk? I don't remember. Something. And, so now I have to go back and buy another thing of soap and make sure it goes in the bag this time. I mean, I guess I could have called Vaughn's. They probably, deep voice guy dressed in all black, bought soap. Oh, yeah, we have it sitting on the counter. Yeah, I could have, but I guess, but I don't know. If it was something more expensive than a $3 thing of soap, sure. But, it wasn't. So, you can't trust anybody. You can only trust yourself when it comes to bagging groceries. So, it is October 1st, which is my sister's birthday. So happy birthday, Kelly. She's working though. She's out of the state right now. I don't think she gets home till like Monday or Tuesday. I bought her a birthday present, and it's been it was delivered to her like a month and a half ago, so it's been sitting in a desk drawer for her for like a month and a half. So she has something to look forward to when she gets home. Chicago says, I can't even trust myself. I have never failed to put something in my grocery bag, but I have almost walked out without my groceries before. It's like, okay. Actually, I've only done that in the self-checkout lane. This was years ago. I've probably done it twice, where someone's bagging my groceries, and I do the credit card thing, and I put the credit card back in my wallet, and I grab the receipt or get the change or whatever, and then I just walk off. I'm like, the groceries. Never done that self-checkout. Self-checkout is the way to go for me, I guess. So anyway, it's October, which means Halloween. Which means tomorrow's the first Sunday of the month, which means, lots of which means is, we're going to take a break from Trails in the Sky the 3rd to play something else tomorrow. And we're going to play, tomorrow, Doom Eternal. Would you like to hear my history with the Doom franchise? Well, you're gonna. Now I'm oldish, middle-aged. So I've played the original Doom back in '92, somewhere around there. I thought it was fine. Probably rented it from the video store, Blockbuster Video or Hollywood Video or just the corner video store. I was never that big into Doom. I thought it was neat. It was certainly probably one of the best presentations of that burgeoning 3D type of game. I mean, there'd been a few before that, like most notably Wolfenstein and some others. But this is the one that really solidified the concept into a presentable, playable package. Not that Wolfenstein wasn't playable, but it kind of sucked. It was more novel than fun. Doom was pretty fun for an hour or two. You're running around at breakneck speed, firing cool weapons at gnarly demons and watching them explode. It's fun. For an hour or two, because for me, I thought the level design sucked. The original Doom, it never had a sense of place. They were just level maps. There seemed to be no thought, it didn't feel like a real place. It was easy to get lost. Didn't know where I was going. It was too reliant on secret doors and cards and switches and weird crap. And every time you'd activate a switch, something somewhere else would happen, and you'd have no idea where the hell it was. You just have to wander the map and try to remember which same-ass-looking wall in the same-ass-looking room had changed, you know? Cafe Fox, hello, says, played the Doom shareware version back in, like, 96, 97, made me motion sick. Interesting thing about Doom is there's no up and down, it's just left, right, and straight forward and back. You can shoot enemies on different levels, but you just kind of aim under them. It's kind of weird. But anyway, I played it. I thought it was okay. I don't think I ever played Doom 2. Years later, I did play Doom 64, which was on, as you might imagine, the N64, and it was... I think it had more verticality than the original Doom, and it looked a lot better. Much cleaner sprites. It was essentially the same game, though, and I had pretty much the same reaction. It's fun for a couple hours, and then I didn't really feel like playing it anymore, because once I got over the rush of shooting demons with chain guns and missile launchers and stuff, and the super shotgun, I just wasn't having fun with the areas that Doom guy was running around in. So I have no idea why the hell I bought Doom 2016 back in probably 2018 when it was $20. But I thought it looked neat, so I, bought it on the cheap and played it, and I thought it was great. I love Doom 2016. Gnarly demons, check. Cool weapons, check. With which to shoot the gnarly demons, check. They blow apart in gory little chunks, check. Doom guy seems to run at approximately 75 miles an hour on foot, check. But this time, there were two things that really were improved over the original Doom, other than, the visuals. One, much better level design. There's a much more coherent sense of place in all of the levels. You start in a facility, and then you go outside onto the surface of Mars, and then you go into a completely into a foundry or something, and then you go into like the underground secret science lair, and then you get transported to Hell. And you play around in Hell, and then you get transported back, and you go back. You bounce back and forth between Mars and Hell for a while, and then the end of the game. Right? It's a lot of fun. It's great. Another thing it added is it added a lot of personality to the Doom guy, or the Doom Slayer, who is still completely voiceless. Dude doesn't say anything. So you have a character who never says anything, and the game is told from the first-person perspective, so you never see his face. But he still managed to have a ton of personality. There's still a bunch of the stuff in just his actions. Doom guy has no interest or time for your cutscene bullshit. Some guy is trying to narrate at him over like some tablet monitor, and he's like, just throws it away. I don't care. No one is going to get between me and shooting demons. He's like, oh, hey, a shiny fuel cell thing. He's kind of looking at it. He's like, okay, now you have to be very careful with that. First, disengage the latch. He just starts stomping on the goddamn thing. No, it's fragile. Don't do this. Like, whatever. Just stomps it to shit and it moves on. Oh, it is so funny. I adored Doom 2016. I will say that I feel the game overstayed its welcome by a little bit. I think, as I was saying, you go back and forth between Hell and Mars a couple of times. I think there's maybe like one back and forth too many. So it overstays its welcome a little bit and gets a little samey towards the end. They kind of run out of new areas. It kind of feels like it's treading water towards the end, but overall, I really enjoyed the original Doom. So I finally purchased Doom Eternal. and we'll play that tomorrow. Looking quite forward to it. So I plugged it in, installed it, because, physical copies still need to install it. That took 10, 20 minutes, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I know you're going to do a day one patch, and by golly gum, it did. So it had to update from version 1, which is on the disk, to version 1.25, which is 62 gigabytes, and took like 10 hours to download. Makes me wonder, is there actually any game on the disc at all? Or is the disc just a key to download the actual game? I didn't try playing any of the game yet. Because, well, not because, but here's a thing that I was heretofore unaware. Oh, but I am heretofore aware of it now, Bethesda. So, when you first start the game, you will be greeted with this screen. Bethesda.net. Log into your Bethesda.net account and we'll link your account for PlayStation Network for automatic login. So you can put in your username and password if you already have a Bethesda.net account, or you can create an account. Do you notice anything missing from this screen? Yeah, there's no cancel option at all. Hitting the circle button on the PlayStation thing, hitting any of the buttons, you cannot get past this screen. Bethesda is forcing you to create an account with Bethesda.net before it will allow you to play the game that you just paid money for. Fuck you, Bethesda. Fuck you. So, I, turned off my my console's internet and bypassed it. I'm going to do that every time, Bethesda. How dare you pull that shit? You should be ashamed of yourself. That's not okay. Don't ever pull that shit again. You scumsickle company. What the fuck were you thinking? Oh, you just gave us money? Well, that's not good enough. You can't play your game unless you sign up. You give us your address or whatever the hell you're asking for to sign up until you create an account with it. No, fuck you. No. So, public service announcement to anyone who wants to play Doom Eternal. Just go into settings and turn off the internet. Once you get past it, you can toggle it back on if you want. Once you get past that screen. I mean, it's really not you shouldn't have to do this, but it's not like something that takes 5 minutes. You just hit the little PlayStation button to go to the main menu. Menu bar, settings, internet, toggle it off, back into the game, get past the menu, and then if you want to go toggle it right back on, you can. Shouldn't have to do that, but that is some scum fuckery. Man, shameless. Absolutely shameless. I mean, at least, so far as I've seen, none of Ubisoft, a company that for decades has been protecting and excusing abusers and sex pests, I have never seen any of their games require a Uplay account. I don't know that none of them do, but I've played a few modern Ubisoft games, including one of the later Just Dances, which we got for the charity event, Mario and Rabbids, the first one. I've played both of the Rayman Legends games. There are two, aren't there? I think so. Maybe there's only one. And while they all have little perks if you sign into your Uplay account, so far as I know, you don't have to sign into Uplay to actually play the damn game. Bethesda, you can't even get to, if your console's connected to the internet, you can't even get to the main menu unless you sign in or create a Bethesda.net account, because your money isn't enough. We need your money and your loyalty. Well, know Bethesda, and this Bethesda is something I'll be keeping an eye out for from now on. And if it's in, say, Doom 3, I may not buy the game next time. I find this particularly offensive. I'm not okay with this. And I know that means jack shit to Bethesda, but if you had the ability to feel shame, Bethesda, ooh, you'd feel it. And you'd feel very bad. And you should feel bad, Bethesda, because this is bad. It's bad, Bethesda. Bad. Bad Bethesda. Bad, bad Bethesda. Now you think about what you've done. Don't pull that shit again. Oh, Chicago's your birthday's tomorrow? Alright. Happy birthday, Eve. Chicago says, played the demo version of Doom on PC. I would play it after class in college, so around 1 a.m. in the dark. Those pink demons would sneak up behind me and attack, give me jump scares. Yeah. Cafe Fox says, I hate creating unnecessary accounts for things when I play SSX for PS3. I had to sign up for an EA account. The only SSX I've played is the one on the Wii. Blur, I think it is. SSX Blur. Really, actually, quite a good game. It's one of the ones where it's like, hey, what if the different tricks you did, different waggle motions did different tricks. Like you had to draw a heart, or a music staff, or a circle or something. It actually worked okay. It was a pretty fun game. I actually liked SSX Blur. That particular game did not require you to sign into EA Play or whatever the hell the account system was back then. But yeah, that whole thing, it's bad enough when they pester you with the option. It's like, hey, you want to sign in to our account and do that? No, I don't. I just want to play the game that I gave you money for. I mean, that should be the deal, right? I give you money, you give me the game, and leave me the hell alone. But, maybe I'm curmudgeonly. Anyway, we'll be playing Doom Eternal tomorrow, so look forward to that. So, last thing, Andor, and no spoilers. If I decide to talk about spoilers, I will say so. So, Andor, new Star Wars show. I've been looking forward to this one. Unlike previous Star Wars TV series, let's see. The first one was Mandalorian, I think, right? And I was like, looks like they're just Boba Fett the show. I mean, okay. And I watched it, and I was like, it's fine. It's good. It's entertaining. Baby Yoda's cute. Mandalorian's cool. It's got some cool characters. I enjoyed it. Mandalorian 2 came out. I was like, hey, more of this. And it just not as good. It's okay. Not as good. Seemed to lean a little bit too heavy on, hey, look at all the other Star Wars stuff we're throwing in the Star Wars stuff. We're going to be spinning this off in here's Ahsoka, here's Bo-Katan, they're going to have their own shows. Here's, Gina Carino's going to have her own show. Oh, she's a scumbag? Oh, well, maybe not her. Good job, Gina. You just flushed a career down the toilet. Wow. Hope it was worth it. That is commitment to being a dick, right? I'm not gonna use someone's preferred pronouns. Screw that. Why, I'll flush my career over that Really? Wow. Imagine being that much of an asshole. Shame. I enjoyed the character. I thought she was good in the role. I would have I would have happily watched a spin-off series. Bummer. Book of Boba Fett, I was like, this one's actually Boba Fett. And it was kind of bad. Not that it didn't have anything entertaining in it, but yeah, it's kind of bad. Star Wars Visions I was looking forward to, and then I just didn't connect with anything. I just didn't really like it. Then Obi-Wan Kenobi, I was like, ugh. And while I appreciated what they were trying to do, execution I didn't feel was there. And then Andor, I was like, really? The guy from Rogue One, movie that's not good? Again, not that it's not entertaining, it's just not good. Boy, there's a movie that feels like it was like rewritten halfway through or reshot halfway through or something, because oh my god, there's so much crap in that movie where they set something up and then it's never addressed again. It's like, this is either incredibly sloppily written or they just changed gears in the middle of it somewhere. I do know that they changed directors on that at some point, and there is stuff in the trailers that didn't end up in the movie, so yeah. So anyway, Andor, they started marketing it a month or two ago, and I saw the trailers for it. I was like, ooh, this looks really good. It helps that there's no damn Jedi. Tatooine doesn't seem to be on there anywhere. No Skywalkers, no Solos, no Kenobis, no Jedi, no lightsabers. Just something else in Star Wars. You know, like espionage, rebels against the Empire, and skullduggery, and and cool. All right, I'm digging this. I'm liking the marketing. I'm actually looking forward to Andor. And 2 weeks ago, they premiered the first 3 episodes, and I was gearing up to stay up until 2 in the morning and watch all 3 of them, even though I had to get up at the next morning for work. I'm like, I can, not that old yet, I can do it. So at midnight, the 3 episodes dropped. I queued up the first episode. I watched it. I was bored as hell, so I went to bed. Yeah. I thought the first episode of Andor was boring. Again, not that there wasn't anything I liked. There's a very cute droid in it that I really like the design of. There's a creature design in it that's really cool. I thought the performances were all pretty good. There were some interesting things going on. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting idea. But man, the pacing was just sluggish. I was genuinely bored. I don't think I was ever, like, bored during Book of Boba Fett, but I was like, this isn't good. I'm not bored, but it's just not very well thought out. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Wasn't bored, even if the execution wasn't great half the time. Half the time it was great, half the time not so much. I was never bored. First episode of Andor genuinely bored me. I didn't want to watch the next 2 episodes. I got up the next day, did my work. After work, I was like, should I watch the next 2 episodes? And I was like, nah, I don't want to. I'm not feeling it. I'm not interested. I think that Friday night, it took me a couple days. I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe it just had a bad first episode. Let's just buckle down and watch it. So I watched episode 2. I watched episode 3. And by golly, they bored the hell out of me too. And I was like, oh, man. Damn. I don't like it. I wonder what everyone else is saying. So I read a lot of people's writings on the premiere, the 3-episode premiere of Andor, and generally people seem to really be digging it. And that pissed me off. Because I want to like it too. It's not fair that everyone likes it and I don't. So, yeah, the first 3 episodes of Andor, while there are definitely elements of it that I think are interesting, it's really just the pacing and the editing. It's just slow and sluggish and boring, and it's got characters where I'm like, who is this? Oh, okay, this is just a dude he knows? Or what's the point, though? And it might just be me missing stuff. I don't know. I thought the flashback sequences were very poorly presented and very poorly done from a storytelling perspective. I won't get into why, no spoilers, but I don't think they clearly communicate what the storytellers are trying to communicate. I don't think they're staged in an engaging way. It doesn't communicate with narratively, I think, what they're going for, and it's not entertaining. It's boring. It doesn't cut together. I think I get what they're trying to do with the parallels they're trying to draw between what happened in the past and what's happening in the present, and that's a great idea. You see that a lot. That's how flashbacks should be used. A flashback should be used to inform what's happening in the present. And I get what they're going for, but it's not working, and it's boring. Well, poop. So a week goes by, and I'm like, should I watch episode 4? Who am I kidding? I'm gonna watch the whole thing. It's Star Wars. I feel kind of obligated. Which is dumb. You shouldn't feel obligated to watch something you're not enjoying, but I watched episode 4. And if I'm not mistaken, I think episode 4 is like the longest of the episodes. I was like, oh no, this is the longest one yet. Oh, phooey. Also, pro tip. When you're in a fantasy land, a fantasy settings, where there's all kinds of weird names for creatures, the Jawas and the Wookiees, and there's weird planet names like Kashyyyk and Coruscant and Tatooine, and there's weird names of tools like a kyber crystal and all the hydro spanner and different spacey names for things, and imperial imperial talkie. Oh, it's a communicator. It's a walkie-talkie. You can kind of get that. Okay, that stuff is fun. Here's the pro tip. Try not to put more than one of those in a sentence at one time. Definitely don't put 3 or more of those space-sounding words in the same sentence, because unless you have the subtitles on, well, I'm going to speak only for myself. For me, if you use 3 or more words that I don't know in a sentence, my reaction is, what? I think you were muttering and I just didn't hear. I'm sorry, what the hell did he just say? Oh, the Garlarbergarks on Verschnargl had the Burstnuberfids. I'm like, what? So for episode 4, I turned on the subtitles, which I'm going to bitch about this again, but Disney Plus and every other streaming service cheaps out by not having closed captioned and English subtitles. I'm glad they have closed captioning. That's great. They should have that. But they should have English subtitles also. I can, I don't need brackets, crickets chirping. Brackets, lightsaber whoosh. Yeah, I hear it. I don't need that. Others do, and I'm glad it's there for them. But I just need the subtitles, because I can't understand what you guys are saying half the time. And it was really helpful in episode 4. And I was like, oh, maybe I should go back and watch episodes 1, 2, and 3 with the subtitles on. Maybe I was just losing stuff in the overly spacey dialogue. And I'm a Star Wars dork, so I know what kyber crystals and stuff are, but boy, they were coming up with object and place and creature names that I'd never heard of, and throwing so many of them out at once. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? I'm sure if I had watched all of Clone Wars and Rebels and all the other cartoons that I'd probably know what the hell he was talking about, but I didn't, so I don't. Anyway, I watched episode 4, and it was really good! Holy crap! Wow! Man, just everything was better. The editing, the pacing, the character development, the storytelling. everything was good. And what's amazing is the whole story is told from like 4, maybe 5 different perspectives. It's constantly cutting between 4 or 5 different factions of people all doing different things. And it works. It's engaging, it's paced well, it's entertaining, the story is interesting, it's going to interesting places. I'm on board. I'm looking forward to episode 5. Man, I did not like episode 3, or 1, 2, and 3, but 4 really did it for me. So, hooray. They still don't know how to end these episodes, though. All 4 of them have the weirdest stopping points. You kind of feel like there'd be a natural story break or a bit of a cliffhanger. No, they just kind of stop. They're like, well, that's 40 minutes. Credits. Oh, we're done. Okay. So, man, went from a Star Wars Andor went from a show I was genuinely anticipating, I was genuinely excited to see, to a show that bored the hell out of me for the first 3 episodes, to a show that I was to a 4th episode that was so engaging and entertaining that I'm genuinely anticipating the next episode. So, wow. What a roller coaster ride. Chicago says maybe that's why they could premiere 3 episodes at once. They rushed the editing and pacing. I have after I saw the first episode and then went to bed, I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe they just had a bad first episode, and that's why they released the first 3 episodes. They're like, okay, we better do more than just the first episode, because if we just air the first episode, no one's going to tune into episode 2. We better put the first 3 out there. Unfortunately, I found the first 3 just dreadfully dull. Again, not that there was nothing good in any of it. There were many elements I liked. I just overall was bored and didn't feel it worked. But man, episode 4 really, really worked for me. Huh. How appropriate that Star Wars Episode 1, 2, and 3 are crap, and Episode 4 is really good. Wow. How's a boot that? Okay, so that's the podcast for tonight. Lots of topics tonight. Glad I got through them all in just over an hour. So, to sum up, Movie Mandates, new show for my sister and I, premieres on Wednesday. Hope you're looking forward to that and you enjoy it. New episodes will drop on the first and third Wednesday every month, and every month will be a brand new theme. This month's theme is /Happy Halloween, and our first movie is The Hills Run Red, slasher film from 2009. So, I mandated that movie, so at the end of our first episode, my sister will mandate a movie for me to watch, and that will be our second episode. And then at the end of that episode, we'll announce November's theme, mandate a new movie, and go on from there. So that's that show's concept. That's how that works. Tomorrow, first Sunday of the month, we're going to take a break from Trails in the Sky, going to play some Doom Eternal, and then we will get back to Trails in the Sky the following Sunday. So, hope you are all looking forward to that. Me, I am going to continue playing Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and maybe I'll finish it tonight. I think I'm in the last dungeon, and once I beat the boss, that's the end of the game. Maybe new side quests and NPC requests will pop up. One already has. Actually, I'm working on 2 side quests right now. It's weird. Oh god, the world's ending, but meet me in the coffee shop and help me with my stuff. I'm like, you guys' priorities are weird. Maybe there's a really long epilogue. I don't know. I really like Tokyo Mirage Sessions. It's a game that's running long, though. There's 6 chapters. I'm pretty sure this 6th chapter is the last one, but they're really lengthy. I think 5 chapters would have been the perfect length for this game. It is a little samey after a while, so I don't think the length of this game really supports the lack of variety. What's there is wonderful. I really like what's there, but it's too little spread over too much, so to speak. What they're spreading is great. What they're spreading over is great. It's just... Yeah. So, overstaying its welcome a little bit, but still enjoying it. So, hope to finish that this weekend. Oh, and I also I took a break and I played Voice of Cards. That one is actually a really good length. It's less than 20 hours. You could probably rush through it in less than 15 if you didn't want to, explore or do any of the side quests. A nice, simple, bite-sized RPG. I really enjoyed that one. So, all right, that's it for me. Chapter 3 of Tokyo Mirage Session. Oh, Chicago, you're playing it? Yeah, it's I really like it, and I love the battle system. I love how this will become more apparent, especially in like chapters 4 and 5. You see hints of it by chapter 3, but by chapters 4 and 5, that's when it really hits its stride. And it's one of those games where you have a main party of 7 people, but the active party that goes into battle is only 3. So you have to pick which 3 of your cast of 7 go into the battles. But Tokyo Mirage Sessions handles it in a way that makes your party members that are in the subcast feel like they're part of the event and part of the battle. And Chicago is seeing some of what I mean, and we'll see in later chapters. I think the game, because that's one drawback of RPGs with large parties, is you're like in Dragon Quest 4, yeah. In chapter 5, it's got a wonderful structure. In the first chapter, you play Ragnar, the knight of the king, and you go rescue a princess, right? And then in the second chapter, you play 2 different characters. I think 2 sisters. Is it the fortune teller and the dance? No, I think that's chapter 4. It's 2 other people. And then chapter 3, I think, is Tulun, the merchant, and then 4 is the 2 women who the sisters who are the fortune teller and the dancer. And then in chapter 5, you get the main hero who travels the world and picks up Ragnar and the dancers and Tulun and the other people. And you end up with a cast of, I think, like 9 people, and you get a wagon. And essentially, you have 4 people in your main party who do the battles, and the 5 others who are sitting in the wagon. And I remember playing the game when I was a kid, and my mom and I constantly joking about the lazy assholes sitting in the wagon. It's like, oh, thanks for your help, guys. Why don't you get your asses out of the wagon and help? And it's like, no, we gotta watch the wagon. You go into the dungeon. We'll watch the wagon. Make sure no one steals it. Make sure the horse doesn't run off. And I mean, it's fine, but it's always a drawback because it's weird when you have a party of 6 to 9 people, but only 3 or 4 can be active at one time. And you always get this impression of your other party members just standing over there going, you're doing good, yay. You're like, well, get your ass over here and help me beat the shit out of the slimes, or whatever. In Tokyo Mirage Sessions, part of the strategy is using your subcasts to your advantage. Even though you have 3 active party members, you still feel like the entire cast is involved, and I think the game does a really excellent job at involving everybody. So, let's see. Cafe Fox says, recommended RPG for PS2, PS4, Rogue Galaxy. That's not... I'll have to... Not pulling up in my head what that is, but I'll Google it later. So, okay. I promise that's it. We're done. Podcast over. Join me tomorrow, noon Pacific Standard Time, for some Doom Eternal. We'll get around Bethesda's BethesdaNet login. Oh, yes, we will. All right. Have an excellent evening, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.